Good morning, everyone. I'm here to talk about the work that we've been doing at the Web Performance Working Group. And I'm representing W3C today instead of Google, where I normally work. So let's go. And first, I want to actually give you a quick introduction to W3C for those who don't know. W3C is the primary standards body for the web. All the web standards that we use on the web today are actually built by W3C. It's a pretty large organization. There are 385 members. That includes companies that build browsers or operating systems and whatnot. The process of standardizing web standards is actually something that you would expect. W3C has representation from many different companies, and representatives from these companies come together and work on individual standards that we use every day. There are 65 different groups, each one working on a different area of the web. And in addition to W3C, there are quite a few other organizations that sort of build the core infrastructure of the internet. For example, IETF. So W3C works closely with all those standards organizations as well to make sure that all the technologies on the web interoperate nicely. As I said, W3C is responsible for a very broad range of technology, from the core HTML5 standard to CSS, web fonts, WebSockets, SVG, you name it. Every technology that we are so familiar with today, W3C has some role to play in standardizing that. But today, I'm actually here to talk about the Web Performance Working Group. The goal of Web Performance Working Group is to build standards to improve the performance of the web. This is a group that we started about 2 years back, and we have 25 organizations that have members as part of this working group. When we started the group, the first thing that we worked on was to figure out how fast is the web, and do developers even have tools to measure the performance of their web applications. So the first few specifications that we worked on were all related to timing. We call those the web timing APIs. Some of the standards are navigation timing, resource timing, performance timeline, and user timing. These are all standards that are at fairly advanced stages of standardization. Some of them are actually standards already, like navigation timing, and all major browsers implement these standards. In fact, yesterday I showed you some real-world speed data that Google Analytics collect. That is actually a result of this standard that we worked on last year, the navigation timing. With that, we are able to provide accurate speed data for your web application through JavaScript. So the focus, as I said, was on measuring the performance for the first year, but that was not the only thing that we worked on. We also worked on a couple of other standards which are actually more along the lines of actually improving performance, not just measuring it. I'll talk about two of them today. The first one is page visibility. This is a very simple standard. All it allows you to do is figure out whether your page is currently visible to the user. And that has significant use cases in terms of how your application can benefit from it and improve its performance. As an example, if your application has animations, you can disable them if the user is not even looking at them. So that's one of the use cases that this specification serves. Another thing, which is actually something that we're benefiting from every day in Chrome, is pre-rendering, where the browsers today, sometimes they load pages in advance of when the user actually visits them, but then they keep those pages stored in a hidden tab, which is not visible to the user. That technique actually only works because of page visibility, because the browser is able to load the page, but not perform actions which are unsuitable when the page is not visible. So that's one of the standards that we worked on, and this is officially ratified as of last month, and we have implementations in Chrome and IE for page visibility as of this point. Another standard that we worked on last year is called Request Animation Frame. This is again a simple API that we designed to improve the use case where you want to build an animation in your web page, but you don't really know how often to actually trigger your animation code. So typically, any web app that actually has animations, they would use a set timeout typically with a value of 0 to keep calling to yield to the browser, but then make sure that the browser calls them back immediately so that they can do another frame. They can do an animation for another frame, and that would result in inefficient behavior, where often when you're running an animation, you're actually running the individual frame code way too many times, more than what is really necessary based on for example, the screen refresh rate. So with Request Animation Frame, you can actually pass on this control for animation to the browser, and you can just write your code on how to animate, and then let the browser decide how often the code should be called to paint a frame. I had a demo for this, but unfortunately, I cannot run it based on the controls that I have, so I'm going to skip this. So what is next for the working group? This is what I wanted to talk a little bit more about. We are working on quite a few new ideas right now as we sort of move away from the timing APIs. I'll talk about 3 of them today, and then there are quite a few more which I'm happy to discuss with you later on. The first one is resource priorities. One of the most common performance problems that we hear from developers is that they don't have enough control on when the browser downloads individual resources that make up your page. Take an example of a page which has a slideshow. So typically what you would do is you would list all the images that make up that slideshow together, and then the browsers, what they will do is they will actually download them all one after the other, because they all sort of appear together in the page. And that's not really useful to you, because you as a developer, you would want only the first image, which is actually visible when you load the page to load, and then deferred loading other images, which the user can only see once he starts to actually play the slideshow. That control is not there today with the developer in an easy way. So with resource priorities, we are looking into possibilities with HTML markup to actually allow developers to give hints to the browser on when to download new resources. Another API that we're working on is the Beacon API. This is to solve a very common problem where sometimes just to do analytics on your page, for example, to track how long did the user actually stay on the page, you would sort of block the unload on the page, and so that you can upload this information. So with the Beacon API, we are working on fixing that performance behavior and let the browser actually asynchronously upload that information. Finally, there is the error logging API that we're working on to actually improve visibility of errors that are happening in the real world, which as a developer you're not aware of. So those are the 3 new interfaces, but there's a lot more. And what I wanted to do was invite all of you to participate in this working group and give us new ideas. If you have ideas for new standards that we should have on the web, this is a good place to actually standardize those APIs. Thank you very much.